गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 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 ॐ वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ध्यायामि चिन्मयानन्दं गुरुदेवं महामतिं प्रेमपूर्णं क्रियाशीलं सदा लोकहिते रतं कृपालुं सुन्दराकारं समर्थं सत्यदर्शिनं वाचा तत्त्वप्रकाशिन्या शोकमोहविनाशिनम्। ॐ श्री सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। Hari Om and Suprabhatam. We will chant the shlokas. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, नहि नहि रक्षति डुक्कृङ्करणे। मूढजहीः धनागमतृष्णा कुरु सद्बुद्धिं मनसि वितृष्णां। यल्लभसे निजकर्मोपात्तं वित्तं तेन विनोदय चित्तम्। नारीस्तनभर नाभिदेशं दृष्ट्वा मागा मोहावेशम्। एतन्मांसवसादिविकारं मनसि विचिन्तय वारं वारं। भज गोविन्दं, भज गोविन्दं, गोविन्दं भज मूढमते। सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहि नहि रक्षति डुक्कृङ्करणे। Having elaborated on the importance of Paravidya, and the importance and the non-importance of vittam, artha, wealth, Acharya started the next topic of discussion, kamaha, where yesterday we saw kamaha is of two types, agantuka kamaha and swabhavika kamaha. And agantuka kamaha is non-universal, time, place and personality based kamaha. Then we were elaborating on the swabhavika kamaha, which are universal. The desire of swabhavika kama, the desire as such, is universal for all species. And we took up the most strong desire which is prevalent in all these species, that is the male and female attraction. One very important thing we have to understand here is, while Acharya talks about Nari Stanabhara, we have to make sure it is vice versa also. We cannot always think only Nari as a issue, even Nara as also issue. Man also is a similar type of issue for women. Therefore, it is vice versa. This is one point. The second very important points we discussed yesterday are the Swabhavika Kamaha have got 5 important aspects. What are they? First thing is, we don't have a choice of its existence. 2, we are not responsible for its existence because it is by nature. Third, we cannot challenge its existence. Fourth, we cannot resist its existence. And fifth, we need not feel bad or guilty for its existence. And then we also said, while all the other species go through it as a impulsive, instinctive aspect of life, and it is determined. Man, when I say man, woman also included. In Shastra, man is used uniformly. In Vedanta, there is no difference between man and woman while discussing, because both have the same basic qualities. So when I say man, woman also is included. The human being is endowed with, is supplied with that sixth sense, that intelligence with which he can utilize, he can exercise certain choice. While we have no choice for its existence, yesterday we made this clearly, we have a choice in its activation, promotion and nourishment of this Swabhavika Kama. While talking this, Acharya also mentioned the one who utilizes this choice and directs and channelizes his mind and energy towards the higher goal of life, and who is able to let go those desires and focus on the higher, such an activity is called Brahmacharya Vratam. And those who are unable to hold on But who would want to exercise those desires are also given a place in the Shastra, and there are certain norms for it. When a human being exercises those norms, the Shastra accepts that also as a legitimate brahmacharya vrata, whereby one can grow out of such inner urges and again focus after some time. Vanaprastha and sannyasa is meant for having exercised and grown out of it, one steps into those ashramas to gain the higher truth. So that is permitted. Otherwise, one is given an option to grow out of it and focus. Why should he focus? The most important point here is one exercises his discrimination. In the first two lines, the discrimination aspect is pointed out, and in the third and fourth line, the sublimation is pointed out. It is a point which we have to accept. It is an important feature that we have to understand, that while the basic urges are there in everyone, there are some people whose urges are strong, born out of the previous vasanas gained in the previous lives. And a life is given to express itself, and here, while one is expressing those basic urges, one also learns. What is the learning there? The learning is moha avesham nari. One should not get avesham is that which one should not get trapped. Ma agaha. The word there is ma ga moha. Ma ga is maha agaha. Because agaha, there is a, the visarga drops. And again agaha, after that, the sandhi rules, there also visarga drops. Therefore, maha agaha is given as maga mohavesham. Don't get into the trap of that avesham, that particular urge. Does it mean that everybody can do it? Yes, everybody can do it, but at very many cases we find that the force, the pressure of that desperate svabhavika kama sometimes erupts, sometimes gets activated. Acharya says, even though it gets activated, it need not be promoted and nourished. One, out of his intelligence, out of understanding, can grow over and grow out. This is possible. And what is the other option given? The other option is the third line and the fourth line, where he says, etat mamsa vasadi vikaram. Etat, what is this? The physical aspect of a nari or the male. What is that? Etat mamsa vasa adi. Adi here refers to all the physical parts of a human body. There are two very important points which we have to think in this aspect. One is, when we look at the different physical body parts of a human being, there is a very important factor which we have to note, that none of them independently are any pleasant. Everything stinks. Mamsa, flesh. Vasa, marrow. Adi refers to bones, blood, everything. Anything and everything that is part of the body stinks. Now when this is said, one immediately jumps to conclusion, Swamiji, it cannot be accepted. Why can't it be accepted? Without the union of the male and female, the vriddhi does not take place, the world cannot exist. Yes, it is right. What you think is right, but at the same time, everybody in the world will not think of it in that fashion. Even everybody talks, all the acharyas talk about this aspect of the body, mind for what it is, astiram, chanchalam, will run behind it. But the viveki starts thinking how, when all these are parts which not only has a negative aspect of it, one should also think other aspects of it. What is that? The first thing is, they are not eternal. They are all Vishaya Ananda. They give temporary pleasure. They are not the ultimate. The second point is, the Vishaya Ananda has got a quality in it. What is the quality? It draws the person again and again towards that experience. It motivates the person. It instigates the person to go again and again towards trying to enjoy and have the experiences. It is not only here the representation is Nari. If you actually start thinking, everything is exactly similar. Then why Nari is given? Because it is the strongest swabhavika kama which a man undergoes. Exercises, experiences. Therefore it is given. Otherwise, every senses has its own, what is it called? Addictions. The eyes have the addiction of form and color. The ears have the addiction of specific sounds. The tongue especially have got the addiction of taste and talking. You will find some people irresistible in talking, non-stop. Example, watch the TV, those debate sessions. 5 people will be talking at the same time. Nobody will understand what they speak. Irresistible desire to speak. All these are also included in this. Think. Then how do I get over? I get over this urge by contemplating. What? When I see its forms of expression. Here Acharya says, Mamsa Vasadi Vikaram. They also are not permanent. Every moment, every minute, so many cells die. So many cells are born. It is not the same thing. Constantly it changes. 2, as I said, it stings. So we have to keep on cleaning. Think. Therefore, it is not worthy of importance for a seeker to grow. Common people exercise the urge, goes on. It is not our business. Acharya is speaking to the seeker. Acharya is speaking to the person who wants to grow to the higher level, and those people must take care. Other people, why should I bother? In sadhana, one must be very clear. Every teaching is meant for me. When I say me, I mean you, for yourself. It is not meant for comparing. It is not meant for judging. It is not meant for labeling. It is meant for analysis, scrutiny, and introspection and change over. And this change over is also called transformation and transcendence. Now see, when I start thinking, etat mamsa vasadi vikaram, this body is full of filth and stink, and vikaram, it constantly changes. That very urge does not happen when the body is old. Think. Therefore, after a particular age, the body will not think of all those things, because even if it thinks, it will not have any strength. Therefore, these Vishaya Ananda are temporary, and what does it do? One, it reduces my physical, emotional, and intellectual energies. It dissipates. And two, it takes me far away from the very purpose of a human life. Therefore, varam varam manasi vichintaya. Again and again, introspect. The next question comes, Swamiji, why again and again? The fact is, the mind is of that quality that it slips again and again. Why does it slip? Because our commitment, our conviction to the higher is not strong. In case it becomes stronger, then nothing will happen. Then it will not slip. Why? How can it not slip? Very simple. As I said earlier, you have no choice of its existence. We are not responsible for its existence. We cannot challenge its existence. We cannot resist its existence while it is there. When my focus is changed to the higher, then what happens? Even though it is there, even though it exists in me, it becomes irrelevant. And Acharya gives a beautiful example for that. He says, stars are there in the sky. We see very nicely in the night. We enjoy the beautiful little stars. In daytime, do you mean to say that stars are not there? Stars are there, but it becomes irrelevant because of the brightness of the sun. It as though does not exist. It exists, we are unable to see it because the brightness of the sun overpowers the presence of the stars. Stars will be there. It cannot be negated. Yet it cannot have an importance because of the presence of the greater, brighter sun when the sun becomes closer to us. Similarly, when I take the higher supreme goal as the important and take that goal closer to my heart, even though these urges are there in me, which cannot be negated, which cannot be removed, yet they are inactive, irrelevant. They cannot have any force on me because my focus has changed. Therefore, Acharya says, Etat mamsavasadi vikaram manasi vichintaya. Now, the first two lines, they talk of the discriminative aspect of a human being, and the second and third line says, sublimate that urge, sublimate that force. It is there, it will come. Very many times it is irresistible. However, when I introspect, when I come to learn the nature of those, then we are indeed given the intelligence to let go of them and shift our attention from Vishayananda to Atmanandam. When the focus is shifted to Atmanandam, then even though Vishayananda are there, it becomes irrelevant to me. And how do I shift? This is exactly the way it has been given. What is it called? There's a very beautiful name for that. Sthula Anitya Shariram. Sthula Anitya Shariram needs to be transcended. And where do we reach? Sukshma Nitya Vastu. Now what are we engaged in? We are engaged in this physical body, which physical body and world, Sthula and Anitya. None of them is permanent. When I shift my attention with conviction and strength, when I shift my attention toward Sukshma Nitya Vastu, then all the other urges slowly will become weaker and weaker. It may be there, but it will have no strength. So, this ability to exercise discrimination and sublimation has to be taken up by every human being. This is the conversion a seeker has to adapt. Then you will find all those energies, physical, emotional, intellectual energies, which are dissipated in enjoying the objects and beings of the world, will automatically drop. Why will it drop? Because it becomes irrelevant to me. So our attempt is to making these swabhavika urges irrelevant. Continuing further. Nalini dalagata jalamati taralam tadvajjivitamati shaya chapalam Viddhi vyadhyabhimanagrastam lokam shokahatam cha samastam nalini dalagata jalamati taralam tadvajjeevitamatishaya chapalam Viddhi vyadhyabhimanagrastam lokam shokahatam cha samastam Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate Samprapte Sannihite Kale Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukrinkarani. Acharya says, or rather he asks, how long do you need to shift the attention? Normally we say, all these spiritual exercises are not for people who are young and dynamic. They have to work and accomplish in the world outside. Working and accomplishing in the world outside is acceptable, understandable. Why? Because you have to survive, you have to live. Therefore, one has to accomplish knowledge, even the objective knowledge, for the sake of survival. But is it worthy enough to postpone this knowledge, the spiritual knowledge, till the end? Many people say, after retirement, Swamiji. What can you do after retirement when you are already tired? And let me tell you, let me warn you today. Spiritual practices cannot be followed when you have no strength. Upanishad says, Nayamatma balahinena labhyaha. This knowledge cannot be got by people who are weak. And this aspect is expressed in this fourth shloka. What does he say? Jeevitam atishaya chapalam. This existence is so uncertain. How? Nalini dalagata jalam atitaralam. How beautiful example has been given. He says, it is like the drop of water on the lotus leaf. The drop of water is so uncertain on a lotus leaf. One small breeze comes, it will just jump away. It will dismantle. It will open up and get merged with the other dirty water. Think. It has no existence with strength. And they are so ephemeral. Tadvat, like that, our life, Jeevitam, Atishaya Chapalam. What guarantee that you will live tomorrow? Many people say, Swamiji, oh, another 4 months, Swamiji, I am getting retired. This example I have quoted very many times. Why very many times? Please understand. So many people have told, Swamiji, another 2-3 months I am going to retire, Swamiji. After that, full time I will be at your feet. I am still waiting for the past 32 years. Not a single person has come. Why? When you retire, it is when you are actually employed. Why? At home, all the important work is given to you. You are unemployed, no? Go and do this and come. You have no office to go, na? You go for vegetables and come. Go for that one and come. Go and pay electricity bill. If nothing is available, second babysitting is available. Your children would have brought some children. And free ayah available. Think. At every given stage of time, our life is involved in, indulged in, completely occupied by every other work other than finding time for your own inner growth. Think. What guarantee? There are people who sleep at night and they will have plans for the next day. Tomorrow morning 10:30, I have set an appointment with this person. Tomorrow 11:30, I have to go and pay my electricity bill. I need to go and withdraw money from my bank. Why? I have to pay all this, and I also have to pay my servant, her salary, servant maid. Therefore, all these things I have to do. So I prepare myself the previous day. Probably I would have written a check. I would have kept all the electricity bill, water bill, etc. And the list given by the wife. For what? For all the groceries. Everything is kept ready and he sleeps. Next morning he never wakes up. Think. How many cases have we found that people are walking on the road, they just collapse, gone? Think. Our life is so flimsy. Our life is so uncertain. Therefore, Acharya says, when the life is so uncertain and a life which is so difficult, Manava Janma is so difficult. Jantuna Narajanmam Durlabham. When we have got this wonderful Janma, for what? A Nara Janma is given to reach Narayana. Narajanma is given to reach Narayana, and that is the only purpose of a Narajanma, please. How sad that we have taken this Janma for everything else other than that. And the foolish people also tell, Swamiji, they give back our own dialogues. They say, Swamiji, you only said it is only in human life that we can enjoy. Only in human life that we can laugh. Swamiji, have you seen a dog laughing? Have you seen a donkey laughing? Only human being can laugh. Have you seen them enjoying channa bhatura? Have you seen them enjoying masala dosa? Have you seen them enjoying bisi bele bhat? I can enjoy. This is the foolish interpretation given by irresponsible people who have not understood what is the purpose of a Narajanma. Think. Durlabham trayamevaitat devanugraha hetukam manusyatvam mumukshatvam mahapurusha samshaya. All these three have been provided unasked. All these have been supplied. For what? To grow out of the limitations that we have picked up and transcend those limitations to gain our own true nature. It is not gaining something else somewhere out in the cloud. It is trying to recognize our own true nature, which is clouded by, veiled by, covered by, blanketed by our own stupidity called ignorance. Think. Therefore, Acharya says, the life is so uncertain. There is a very beautiful shloka in Vairagya Shatakam written by Bhartrihari. Excellent shloka. Ayur Varshashatam Nrinam Parimitam Ratrau Tadartham Gatam. So beautiful those shlokas are, even chanting enchants. Ayurvarshashatam nrinam parimitam ratrau tadartham gatam tasyardhasya parasya chardhamaparam balatva vruddhatvayoh shesham vyadhi viyoga dukkha sahitam sevadibhirniyate जीवे वारितरं चंचलतरे सौख्यं कुतः प्राणिनाम. What a beautiful shloka. He says, Ayuhu Varsha Shatam Nrinam Parimitam. He has given a liberal, let us say you are given 100 years. Let us say you live 100 years. Lot of people bless you. What is it? Shatamanam bhavatu shatayuh purushasya. Ashirvada is given. So let us give a benefit of doubt that comes true and you are given 100. That is a parimita. That is the limit. Nobody lives, not everybody lives 100 years. We all know. Isn't it? Benefit of doubt, 100 years Shastra give. Ratrau tadartham gatam. Ratrau tad ardham. Half of it is gone in sleep or being sleepy. Both you have to take into consideration. Half of the life is gone. So if you are given 100 years, how many years is left over? 50 years. Tasyardhasya parasya cha ardham. Tasya ardhasya means out of those 50 years, half of it is gone. How? Balatva vruddhatvayoho. 12 and a half years balatvam, 12 and a half years vruddhatvam. 25 years is gone. Why 12 and a half years? Until 12 and a half years, you don't even understand what is life. And later, in your later age, there is no point in thinking. Why? You cannot think. Nothing happens. Eyes cannot see properly. Ears cannot hear properly. You cannot sit properly. You cannot stand properly. You cannot lie down properly. You can't do anything properly. So 12 and a half years this side, 12 and a half years that side you leave. 25 years gone. How many is remaining? 25 years are remaining. Acharya says, Shesham, that which is left over 25 years, Vyadhi Viyoga Dukkha Sahitam. So much of diseases and Viyoga Dukkha. What is Viyoga Dukkha? Because I have got attached to so many people and things around and they go on dying. Everybody have to die. So, some of our life has gone in Viyoga Dukkham. Worrying about those people who have gone. We never think that one day we are going to go. We are also in the queue sooner or later. Viyoga Dukkham Sahitam Sevadibhirniyate. Seva here refers to what? Working for our survival. That is why all the officers, he served for 34 years. They never say he worked for 34 years. Service says to. How much is your service in your office? What does it mean? Seva. Seva is what? Working for our survival. Sevadivihi niyate. It just flies away. It just goes away. It just slips slips out of you. And he says, Jive varitaram chanchalatare. It just, this jivana just slips out, goes away. You have no control. Saukyam kutah praninam. When are you going to actually enjoy your life? Because life just walks away. Elsewhere in this text itself, Acharya will say, Kalaha kridati gacchati ayuhu tadapi namunchati asha vayuhu. Therefore, he mudhamate Govindam bhaja. We will continue tomorrow. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.